is Tracey Fuchs. She joins us for our big interview. Coach, 11 straight wins, which is the longest run of your tenure. What do you feel best about with your team at this point?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me. We're just playing consistent. We're solid across all three lines, up front, in the midfield, and in the back. And our defense is playing well. Our attack is generating more than enough scoring chances, and when that happens, good things happen. So really pleased with where we are right now.
So the answer is you feel best about everything. You feel best about your team.
Yeah, I keep saying we're good everywhere, maybe not great anywhere, but we're very, very consistent. We have one of the best goalkeepers, I think, in the country, who has a great defense in front of her. And then, we're getting a lot of scoring from a lot of different people, which hasn't always been in the case in the last few years, but everybody's pitching in, and it's Team Wildcat hockey, so life is good.
It's been interesting to see, particularly some young players really chipping in. It's interesting that you lost your first game of the year to what has turned out to be a really good Louisville team. But to what extent do you think that fueled this run?
Yeah, I think we didn't. We actually played quite well in that game and dominated statistically. Nothing fell, and Louisville played a fantastic game. So we knew that start, even though we didn't get the result we wanted, that we were in a pretty good place. And, we have some great leadership, 3 graduate students and a heck of a lot of seniors. So we have a lot of players that will be able to fight through adversity if more bumps come throughout the season.
You were the national runners-up last year. You won the national championship the year before. Describe the difference mentality-wise when you come into a season where maybe you fell just a smidge short of what you wanted last year. Obviously, it was an incredible year to finish second in the country, but the year before you had won it all. Does that change the mentality at all coming into the year?
I think so. I think, we have a very confident group. We knew we lost some really key players, including Maddie Zimmer, who's taken a redshirt year to go play with the U.S. team. So we knew we would have to be a little bit more creative this year and, again, have more balanced scoring. And I think, the Cats have come out and have done that and have created scoring chances. And, our corner execution has gotten better over the course of the last 6 weeks. So we need to continue that. We're a little bit inconsistent still, but it always puts us in a position to win, and that makes me happy.
You're in your 15th year at the Helmet Northwestern. You're the winningest coach in the history of the program. We mentioned all the great teams that you've had here in recent years. I'm curious, which is more difficult? Is it more difficult to build the program, or is it more difficult to maintain the program?
I think both are difficult. I think it was challenging and really, really fun to try to turn Northwestern field hockey back around to where they were in the 90s. And then, to keep, we always want to be in the top 5. I'm a competitor. Anybody I recruit comes out on the field and they're going to be competitors. So we don't want our legacy to be diminished. So every year it's to vie for national championships, vie for Big Ten championships, and just play really solid hockey across the board.
It's one thing to say to a recruit, we're going to attempt to win a national championship. Our goal is to win a national championship. It is a different one to say, hey, we've won a national championship. How does that change recruiting? Does it make it easier for you to sell? Are you selling a different kind of player?
I mean, first of all, Northwestern's a great place to go to school and spend 4 years of your life on campus. But certainly our success has helped us attract some of the top talent in our country. You can see Olivia Ben-Cole, national team player, and then we have 3 or 4 that are on our under-21 team, and Lauren Wattis just added to the national team. So we're definitely attracting that talent both as students and as athletes, and I think we're getting the right people on the bus. Our culture's in a good place, and we have great people around us and support staff. that helps as well.
Coach, we've had you on a couple times before. I mentioned your moniker as the Michael Jordan of field hockey. You're considered by many to be the greatest player in the history of the sport. You're a two-time Olympian. It was interesting. I was going through it in prepping for this, and I saw an article where you said, had I been born a man, I would have been a five-time Olympian. Clarify what you meant by that.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, they only had 6 teams that went to the Olympics for the women side of field hockey, and they had 12 for men. So I missed out on 3 Olympics because we didn't have the same amount of teams as the men, and now we do. And I'll always fight for gender equity, whether it be in sport or out of sport. So I'm happy that the young ladies playing for the national team now have the same opportunities as their male counterparts. So I just was born a little bit too early.
And that speaks to a bigger issue, which you and I have spoken about before, and it is the gender equity component of this. This is something that you have certainly seen, as you just outlined there, throughout your career. Where do you think we are in that battle right now to have women's sports on a level playing field with the men?
Yeah, I think we're gaining on it. Somebody, a very influential coach at another school told me the crumbs are getting bigger, but they're still crumbs. So we always, and I will always, fight to push women to have the same equity as the men. And at Northwestern, you know, it's the women's sports are doing so well, and it's because we value that here, and that's probably why I've stayed for the last 15 years.
You talk about Northwestern. Anyone who's watching the Big Ten Network knows it was a rough summer at Northwestern. How has that impacted the coaches in terms of bringing you closer together? Like, to what extent have you rallied around one another?
Yeah, I think we were close before. I think through COVID, the head coaches were a tight group. We're even closer now. We're always bouncing things off of each other. And as you said, it was a very tough summer, but it was nice to get going and get back on the field and see my players and start the season. And, you know, I have so many good people around me, my mentors and head coaches in other sports. So we're always there for each other, and we always will be.
Well, you mentioned your team, again, off to a tremendous start. This is a huge test coming up on Friday against Iowa. I know we are all looking forward to having it here on the Big Ten Network. They're the highest scoring team in the country. What's the biggest challenge when you face the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, I mean, they're also solid. They're solid from goalkeeping all the way up front. And it is going to be a battle. They always draw a great crowd out in Iowa City. And honestly, it'll probably come down to corner execution for both teams. They have, you know, one of the best first years in the country who's hitting the heck out of the ball. And our corners gotten better and better each and every week. So it just, who's going to bring their A game, who's going to be consistent throughout the match and, you know, ride the momentum waves. But we'll be ready to go, and we can't wait to play such a great team as Iowa.
Looking forward to watching it on Friday. Tracey Fuchs, always great to visit with you. Thanks so much for your time, and best of luck going forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Have a wonderful day. Go Cats.